people. Today we are going to do this set of leaf nails, which I'm calling Love 'em or Leaf 'em. These are going to start off on a long set of coffin nails with the base color is going to be nude. Now, in hindsight, I'm kind of wishing I'd done these on white instead of the nude, but it is what it is now. Anyway, we're going to be doing a lot of stamping on this set, some hand painting. I got the idea for these last summer. I did a set where I stamped with some pigments and it worked really well. So I had this set of like a stack of, like we get the little pots that are stacked together in a column. Well, I have a stack of those that were shades of green, but they all have what am I thinking? What is the word I'm looking for? They have a shiny, like, kind of a pearlescence, maybe? I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. My brain is not working, apparently. Anyway, all the greens have that, and I have another stack of them that are different shades of blue that are also have the pearlized essence to them. So I got to figure out something to do with the blues, but I figured for the greens this was a good idea. I'll tell you guys up front, it took me 3.5 hours to do this set. We have moved on here. I believe there's a second coat of these now. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Doing stamping, when you're stamping each leaf on one by one, and then you have to clean in between and all this, it takes a long time. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. If you know how to do stamping, it's just very time consuming again. I seem to pick a lot of these projects that take a long time. Well, for whatever it's worth, I don't know. I think they turned out pretty decent. Like I said, I think I would have liked them better had I done them on white. But since I was going to have some with a smile line and the part above the smile line on the nail bed part, I thought would look better as nude than white. And I realized I could have painted that in, but I did not. So, as I said, it is what it is now. If you guys decide to do this, I would do it over white. Okay, we're going to cure those and then we'll be off. Oh wait, no we won't. Okay, we've cured those. Now I'm going over all of them with a layer of matte top. And the reason I'm putting matte on is because with the stamping, with the pigments, I figured if I had a real shiny glossy finish, those pigments were going to stick on there and be really hard to get off if I had, like any sloppage I needed to clean up. So I figured it would be easier and hopefully the pigments wouldn't stick to the mat, so I would have easier cleanup. And for the most part they did work out that way. And we are, what are we doing? Oh, we're still on top coat. I always forget how much longer it takes for these long nails for stuff. Okay, I think we're ready for curing. And now we're moving on. Oh boy. Okay. This is a plate that I'm going to use some of the leaves off of here. And dagnabbit, I always forget that these plates are like little mirrors when I'm doing stuff. Now you guys get a nice shot up my nose. Oh, Lordy. Alright. This particular... Oh, wait. Before we get started, I had decided I better mark out where my smile lines are going to be on the nails that's going to have that, so that I can avoid stamping too high up onto the nail. So I'm just taking a pencil and I'm just kind of sketching in where my smile lines are going to be. This is not set in stone, so, but that's just going to be a guideline. So I'm just going to get these two ready and then we'll move on. If you don't, if you're not happy with what you've got there, now see, I wanted them to be about the same, and that second one is not. You can wipe off your pencil line with just some alcohol and a lint-free wipe, which I just did. And now we're going to try again. That one needed to be longer, farther down. I've got to come up with a better method for doing these smile lines because I'm never really happy with them. I always seem to get them too shallow. I like the deeper ones. I think they look nicer, but for some reason, I just can't seem to get that going. This first stamping plate we're going to be using is from Chic. Okay, woman, that's good enough. Now let's go. For Pete's sake. Okay, now we're going to be moving on. Firstly, I'm going to just start with a regular stamping polish. This is not gel polish. This is regular old school stamping polish. And I'm going to pick up that kind of fern looking leaf on there kind of in the center. And we will start off by putting some of that on the stamping plate. Then we scrape it off with a scraper. And then we pick it up before it dries and then it doesn't stick. Now mind you have to go a little bit quicker when you're using regular stamping polish than if I were to be using, I'm going to clean excess off of there. If I were to be using the gel stamping polish, then you can take your time. You don't have to be hurrying at all. But I am just going to randomly stamp these green frond leaf things. I'm going to put one in a random spot on every one of the nails. I think I'm going to show you one more. And the rest of them I will finish off camera on those. There's my lint roller. This is how I clean my stampers off. There wasn't much on there to clean off, but you get the idea. Then we're going to clean the plate off. Wait for it to dry. And there it goes. It's dry. And we load her up again. Okay, that one I didn't clean any extra off. And also, oh, here we go. I was going to say, also, you're not going to see me stamping it on. Okay, there we go. Now I'm moving on to this other plate. We did that, one of those on every nail. This one, I don't know the brand name, but considering it's BPX, I'm going to say it's probably Born Pretty. And I don't know for sure. And once again, you guys may get a look up my nose. Okay, we're going to use that leaf right there. Now we're going to switch to the pigment powder stamping. So, I'm going to use a different stamper. Okay, there's my stack of pigments. You see how they have a sheen? That's the word I was looking for, you guys. They have a sheen to them. You can't really see it that well on camera like that, but that's the first color we're going to use, this yellow-green. So first thing we're going to do is load up our stamper. And I will use a little makeup sponge thing for that. And we'll just rub some of that pigment onto the stamper. You don't need a whole lot. Okay, and then we will get our stamping polish onto the plate. And for this, I'm using regular stamping polish again, but we're going to use white now. And we shall get that on there as soon as I get it opened. And scrape it off. Okay, and then we gotta pick it up. We're gonna pick it up right where we have the pigment on there. And see, there it is. It's been picked up, and then we're gonna randomly put that on here. And I got lucky is I didn't end up with too much pigment powder stuck onto my nail, which I'm going to clean off right now with the lint-free wipe. Now I started using alcohol. I can definitely clean the powder off with alcohol if I got any of that. Now see the sheen that leaf has? Okay, but up here where we have the white, where there was white like overflow on my stamper head, I didn't clean off before I stamped. This we're going to have to use acetone for, so that's what I have on this Q-tip. And we'll clean that off. And we're going to be careful not to take off any of that green leaf that we started with back in there. There. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Now, then we got to clean off the stamper head, which I did. And we got to load her up again. This is the time-consuming part because everything in between each single leaf, you got to clean everything off. Get yourself situated again, and then go on to the next time. Alright, as soon as that finishes drying, there we go. I think this is the last one of these I'm going to show you. Okay, we're just going to do the exact same thing. And you may or may not see me stamping it onto the nail. Some of these I was out of shot on when I was getting the stamping part on there. I need to hurry up or it's going to dry on me and then it won't stick. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to go through. I'm going to do one of those randomly on all the nails again, just like we did with that first one. Okay, now we're moving on to another color, which is this olive color. We will load that up on there. Now I was switching back and forth between the two stamping plates that I've already showed you, so I'm not 100% sure which one this is. This one's got more of a gold sheen to it. Now, there's only going to be one of these. Now, see that little group of leaves there? That's what I started with. The first one worked out okay, which you're going to see me do. See, there it is. It's on there. I'm going to try to get off some of this loose white so it doesn't stick onto my nail. And then we are going to go with this one. Now that one, okay, that one didn't come out good at all. So I'm going to clean everything off, load it up again. Now, I'm not sure if I kept that one or if I now have switched to a different one. Nope, we're going to go with that one again. Only one nail is going to have this design of these leaves because as I was going along with these, they weren't picking up fully every time and it was just taking way too much time to just mess around with them. I almost said a bad word there, you guys. Alright, there we go. Now it's on there. Now, as I just said, I had a lot of problems with that particular one, so I am going to, once I clean these up, I'm going to get that extra pigment off of there. I'm going to switch to a different leaf design for the rest of the ones that will be done with that color. But that's what that one looked like. Okay, we're going to continue on with this color, but now I have switched to a different leaf. We're on the same plate. We're just moving down here to the leaf that's right there. Because I didn't want to keep messing around with that other one too long. Alrighty, and on we go. Let's see how that one there. Okay. And I think that's all of that I'm going to show you. I think I'm going to be moving on to the next color after this. As soon as I clean this one up a bit. I did at one point get one of my cleanup brushes and I left it dry. And I used that to brush over top of where I just stamped that on after it dried a little bit to brush off any excess powder. Okay, now we're moving on to that frond look one, and we're going to go with stamping polish again. Obviously you saw this is a Born Pretty stamping polish. I highly recommend their stamping polishes. They're very easy to work with, and they have pretty wide variety of colors. When I get this open eventually, we were going to go on with that. You know, this part will go quicker because I'm not having to deal with the pigments on this part, so this part will be much quicker to do and easier. But we're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to stamp one of these randomly on all the nails. Now I'm not sure if I show you any more of those. Let me see if we do another one. It looks like we are going to do another one. And scrape. And pick it up. And on we go to the next nail, which you're not going to see me putting it on. I tried so hard to keep these in shot, and they were not. Okay, we have a little bit of cleanup on there. Then I think I'll go do the rest of those off camera, and then we're going to move on to the next color, I believe. Yep. Okay, I'm going to use this kind of blue green now for the next leaf design with the pigments. I was a little worried when I was putting this on here because it looks more blue than green to me. It kind of looks like a teal. But once I got it stamped, I was happy with the color. Now I forget which one I'm doing for this one. Oh yeah, I think we're going to go with the top part of that. Yes, okay, see that long stem of leaves over there? I'm just going to use the top portion of them. Well, this one's going to have a few more than it needs because when I scraped, I got more of it on there than I wanted. But the top 3 leaves is what eventually I'm going to only be using. And let's see, there we go. Also, I don't know what happened at this point, but my phone camera somehow is out of focus a lot now for these stamping parts. I don't know what happened, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to go through, we're going to pick up, we're going to do that again, but I'm just going to be extra careful to only get those top 3 leaves on that stem this time, because the other one was just too big. Okay, then we will pick it up, and then we will put it down. I think, I'm not sure if that one didn't work out right, but anyway, I went and did that and all the rest of them. Now we're moving on. I'm going to move on to hand painting some leaves now to fill in the spaces between the ones that we've stamped on there. So I'm going to use base coat, and I'm going to use this green pigment. This is still part of that stack of pigments. Now the amount of pigment I took out and put in here is probably about twice as much as what I really needed. But it's kind of hard to judge how much you need for these things if you don't do this all the time, which I don't. It's hard to just figure out how much I'm going to need. I don't like to do too much extra because then you're just wasting product. But we're going to mix this until all the powder's mixed in everywhere. And as you can see, once you mix it in, it still has that nice sheen to it. But this is the green we're going to use to do some hand painting. Okay, I've got my detailer brush out, and here we go. Still seems to be a bit out of focus. I don't know why. But I'm just going to randomly I want to try to fill in some of the places where I have nothing. So I'm going to start off with the stem, and then we're just going to do some leaves on it. Most of the leaves I'm going to be painting on, the hand-painted ones, are going to look the same. I did try to vary it up if I had more than one spot that I needed to fill. I tried to vary the style of the leaves so they don't all look exactly the same. I think that one needs to be rounded out a little more. But we will just carry on putting the leaves on here. You know what I'm thinking as I'm watching this, that probably these pigments that have that sheen to them have probably been colored with the different mica powders that I have that whole collection of, which is why I think they have the sheen, as the mica does have a sheen to it. Okay, we have that leaf on, and I think I did some more on another part. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit on this bottom now. Now, I wasn't sure when I was painting these if I was going to be able to paint over top of where I already had pigment stamped leaves on there, because I wasn't sure if stuff was going to like paint over where the powdery pigment stuff is. I didn't know if it was going to stick to there, you know what I mean? Which is why I tried not to overlap any of the pigment leaves as I was stamping, because I didn't think stuff would stamp on top of that pigment with it being powdery like it is. I am not sure if I'm going to show you guys another one after this one. We'll see, because I don't remember what I did at this point now. Okay, when I'm happy with that, which I believe I am at that point, we'll move on to the next one, or not. Okay, now I believe we're ready to, okay, we're going to move on. So I'm going to show you one more, and I think that's going to be it. So basically, it's going to do the same thing. What you could do if you wanted to was take a dotting tool and put a decent sized dot wherever you want your leaves, and then just shape out of that, just take your brush and drag polish out of that dot, and get your leaf shape going, if that would be easier. I didn't do it that way, but I suppose you could do it like that if you were looking to have more uniform size stuff, because mine are just kind of randomly on there. I kind of do my line like you see me do and give it a little wiggle, and then I just go back over and shape it out to the more roundy leaf bit that I'm looking for. Or in some cases I left them long and thin. And down here on this edge we want to get another little bit going. And is that it for that one, or are we going to do some more? I think I did something else on this one too, but I think this is where I did a little bit different of a thing. And this is where I decided I'm going to try some long skinny leaves instead of having them all look exactly the same as those other kind. So I did vary it up if in some spots if I was going to do more than one on there. Okay, there we go. Now we're moving on to another one. Okay, okay, now what I'm doing, I've done all the leaves that I wanted on there. Now I'm just going back and I'm painting in some random stems in places where I still have like big gaps that I need to fill with something. So we're just going to make some little stems. So I'll go and do that on all of them, then cure. And now what we're going to do, okay, well somehow, I don't know if I cut out that somehow. I went in on all those little stems with some Saviland gold gel paint, and I made little dots on all the stems to be like berries. Now somehow I must have cut that part off when I was editing, but you can see them there on the bottom of that one. So you'll just have to go and take my word for it and go in and do that. And now I'm just using this polish here to paint my smile lines on, to give some kind of a divider between the nail bed and the leafy portion. I can't believe I cut that part out with the dots. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, I felt like these needed to have the smile line painted in just to give them, you know, a divided off part, so they didn't just look weird at, you know, the top being blank with nothing. When I'm happy with that, we'll move on to the next one, and we will cure those. Okay, now moving on to the little embellishments. We got our gem glue. There's only 4 nails that need that smile line on, so I've gone and done those. We're going to use these little gold triangles, and we're just going to put one at the top of the nails that we just did the smile lines for. I'm not getting crazy with a bunch of crystals or a whole bunch of embellishments on these. I'm trying to cut down somewhat on all the embellishments. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to stop. I will do some on some nails. There's going to be a lot, but on most of the nails, I'm just going to try to cut down because I think listening to people that wear the press-ons, listening to a discussion that I heard recently, is they mostly want stuff that is smooth. It's not going to have anything that gets caught on other stuff. And they also seem to like the active length nails more than the longer ones, but which I do throw some of those in here and there. It's just so much, the designs always look so much nicer to me on the longer nails. But okay, we're going to get that on. We're going to do that on all 4 of those. And then we're going to cure them. Now we're moving on to the final top coat. Now you can see on there where I put the little yellow gold dots. And there were some places where I just randomly put dots where I still had some area to fill, like on the tip of this one. In case you're wondering, I waited to do the top coat until I got those embellishments on because I knew they needed to be top coated over. 1, to clean up the gluey mess that was oozing out the side of them, and 2, to give a top coat over that gold finish so it doesn't wear off. And the reason I went with a gloss top coat on here rather than matte was because if I had done matte, you wouldn't see the sheen of those pigments that we just stamped all those on. So that's why I wanted to go with the glossy. In case anybody was wondering, there is a method to my madness. Usually people can't figure out what it is, but I do have a reason for doing things. They would look nice matted too, you just wouldn't get the sheen from the pigments. If you did that, you wouldn't be able to see them. And you can see where I've put the dots on there, on those little stem bits that I put in. And moving along. We're almost done, guys. Alrighty, and we just have the pinky to go now. And then they will be ready to cure. Now the pinky's got rather a lot on them because there was obviously not as much real estate to cram all those ones on. Now there may be some that I did not put a certain one on because there was just not enough room. I'm not sure. I think there might have been 1 or 2 where I did that. Okay, now we're going to cure that, and then we're done. There we go. There are the Love 'em or Leaf 'em nails. If you like them, please give me a like. I would really appreciate that. And if you want to see more, I upload a new video every Saturday. So you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you care to see more. And that's it for now, I guess. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.